Hi Casey, I just want to give you some feedback here regarding your charcoal reduction drawings that you submitted for Unit 11. So we're starting here with the charcoal reduction scale, and I would have to say you have an understanding from light to dark really well, but if you look right here, you can see that there is a strong contrast in the value from the number 4 to number 5. So you want to make sure that you gradually build up to this value right here. So you're going to because the tone of your paper is so light, I think that might be why this got a little tricky for you. So possibly putting another layer on this would be helpful. So you really get a middle gray color, because it's very difficult to get these three values when your middle value is so light, okay? And then it jumps right into, so then you want to gradually add a little less charcoal here. And then these three are really nice and strong. They gradually transition from a middle gray or a dark middle gray to a very dark value. For this single bag drawing, you have a really nice start here. Only use line to describe the edge of a crease or the edge of an object. If necessary, you want to rely on value to suggest that transition. Okay, so whatever is happening in value here should be described by just thinking about the very value shape. So erasing all of this out would have done that rather than creating just a line. And when I look at what your middle gray is here, I see some of the middle gray tone right here. I see some of the middle gray right here. And then I see some middle gray right back here. Then I also see some down here. So if I go to those areas, you want to make sure that you pick one. Okay. So I think we talked that there's a middle gray right here, and here is what you've determined. Then I come down to here and here on the left side, and these are quite light. These have light hitting them, okay? So this is, this should actually be lighter and not that middle gray if these two truly are the middle gray. So whatever you do when doing these type of drawings, find one middle gray, kind of make a mental note of where that is in your still life, and always compare all of the other values in your drawing to that middle gray. And then the shape will start to look more and more volumetric. Thank you for your note. Asking more about the charcoal and getting an even tone on the page. I wrote you feedback on that in the rubric, so make sure that you check that out. There's a couple options that you may want to try. So with the mass line gestures, these look good. It looks like you're filling them in, just describing the mass. Don't worry about the value. So I can see that you're starting to include value where you go darker, and then you are also lighter here. And all I want you to do is fill this in as an even value, okay? I'm not looking for the value changes that happen on the surface. I just want this to be a solid shape with one color or one value, and then you outline it using the tip of your pencil, okay? So keep that in mind while you're working. For the bag, the multiple bag drawing here, you have a nice sense of, this looks like you have the tone of the paper, which got a little bit darker, which I think was helpful for you here. But also I want to jump back to the idea of what is your true middle value? Okay, so I have your still life next to your drawing here so that you can kind of make these comparisons with me. This appears to be kind of the middle tone of your paper, right? So again, check everything against this middle value. All of this should be lighter, right? And all of this should be darker, which you've done over here really well, okay? This all should be very dark back here, which would help push this back in space. But if this is described as my middle value right here, you've also described this as your middle value. And look at, if I compare this value with this is a lot lighter than this. So you want to stick with that one middle value, like I said about the single bag drawing as you go through. Another thing to think about with your drawing is the composition. So when I look at the height of The bag that's standing up, this is quite tall, okay? So think about where is that crease, which you've defined right here, but this is actually going to go up a little bit higher. And also think about how you can break the page with your shapes, possibly drawing this still life a little bit larger in scale would help break up those areas, the negative space areas. But overall, I like that you are drawing with your eraser and you're using charcoal, but just be sure that you're constantly checking that middle gray value that you've selected to all the other areas in the drawing, so they don't become it doesn't become confusing for the viewer.